Mr. Carmouche, give us your full name and DOC number, please.
Ricardo Carmouche, number is 130981.
Mr. Carmouche, let me explain our procedure to you. First, I'm going to read some information in the record, then we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. After we conduct that parole interview, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then we'll vote. Do you understand our procedure?
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay, thank you. This is the matter of Ricardo Carmouche, DOC number 130981, date of birth August the 29th of 1971. He's classified as a second felony offender. He has a parole eligibility date of August the 1st of 2021. Good time, adjusted good time date of January 14th of 2098, and a full term date of September the 16th of 2100. He is currently serving a 104-year sentence on the charges of 2 counts of armed robbery, first-degree robbery, and 2 counts of first-degree robbery. He was sentenced on February the 22nd of 2001 on the first-degree robberies and May 29th of 2001 on the armed robberies. Mr. Carmouche, is that fairly accurate?
Yes, it is. It is.
The case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Carmouche, how old are you?
I'm 51 years old.
Okay, how long have you served on the 104-year sentence total?
Right. 24 years and 8 months, 9 months, almost 25 years.
Okay, is that including the time that you were in before you got revoked on the first-degree robbery?
No, sir. That's all on these charges right here.
Bank charges.
Yes.
Okay, so how long did you serve on the auto theft charges?
A little bit over 5 years, maybe 5 years, 4 months.
So you close to 30 years you served, because you wasn't out you were out a good while before you got that other charge. Okay, Mr. Carmouche, I'm gonna just kind of briefly go over what you've charged with. Like I say, you were out on parole in 1994. You got out and you the conviction then was simple robbery.
Yes.
You had took a BMW and I forget what the other car was. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
And then in 97, you upped it and you went and you robbed what, 4 banks, 5 banks, 4 banks. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So, I'm not going to get into the details of each robbery, but why were you doing this? I mean, give me a reason. Where was Mr. Carmouche in his life at that point?
Mr. Freeman, I was at a point in my life where I didn't really care about anybody else. I didn't care about like who I hurt or I didn't care about what kind of destruction I was causing in people's lives. I just didn't have any regard for anybody else or anything at that time. I didn't. And that's where I was at. At that time in my life, I didn't have any, I didn't take thought for the next person or didn't consider what they might be going through in life or I was selfish. I was all about myself. That was my state of mind back then.
And what money? Were you on drugs, alcohol at that time?
No, I wasn't. I know I had a lot of bills and stuff like that. I had poor money management skills, and I didn't know how to manage my money, and that's what, because I had I was in that mindset where I didn't care about anybody else, and I didn't care about what they thought and what they felt. Added to that, the fact that I had so much debt, that's what caused me to go out and do what I did at that
Okay.
time.
What was your part in the robberies? Were you a lookout man? Were you the man that jumped the counter and got the money out the drawers of the banks? I mean,
My part of the robberies, I went inside of the banks, and I told the tellers to open the drawers, and then I took the money out the drawers, and I ran out of the bank, got to a stolen vehicle, and drove to my vehicle a few blocks away.
that was the one you got caught, right?
That's pretty much how everything went, always.
Okay, so that was pretty much how y'all did it all the time. Okay. How many children you have, Mr. Carmouche?
I have one daughter and two granddaughters.
You have any contact with your daughter?
Yes, I do.
How often you would say y'all contact each other?
Every week. Every week.
Good. Good. What's your educational level?
I have an associate's degree in communications electronics, and I'm certified in internet computing, and that's the extent of it, of my
Did
education.
you have a GED though?
Yes, of course.
Did you get that while you was in prison?
Yes, in my first period of incarceration.
Good. Okay, looking at some of the comments, there was no comment from the sentencing judges. Hillamore, the DA here in Baton Rouge, had no comment. Well, they sent a letter. But it wasn't returned. The district attorney in the 15th JDC is opposed. Unopposed is Major Todd Morris, spokesman for the East Baton Rouge SO. He says that it looks like you served enough time. Major Don Harden is opposed in Lafayette. And there was no comment from the chief. The city police in Lafayette is opposed. Elisa Tollison, your daughter, is unopposed. What is going to be your transition plan? Where you going to live? Where you going to work? I see you submitted some letters. Are you still going to be working there?
As far as employment goes, I'm going to work for a company called Corporate Best in Baton Rouge, and they're a janitorial service, and they have a contract with EBR Para Schools, and I'll just be cleaning the schools, working with them, cleaning the schools. Residents, as far as residents goes, I had connected with the first 72 plus. There are miles in New Orleans, but then also my pastor, Pastor Clifton Sanford, he says that he'll be willing to support me for the first 3 months that I'm out.
He sent a letter, said they would cover full expenses. It would not be given to you up front, but they would cover expenses for 3 months.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
evaluated from there.
Yes.
So yes, we have both of those letters from your employer and your resident plan. You know, your daughter sent a real nice letter. Enjoyed reading it. The victims in this case, they're opposed. The ones that we received comments back from are all opposed, which you can imagine. Your criminal record, you have one carrying of a concealed weapon in '89. You pled guilty to misdemeanor theft and you served 60 days in the parish jail. Other than that, I don't think you had any charges that were related to weapons until you stole the car. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Brett Abear, as I said, he was an employee of one of the banks. He's opposed. Miss Cynthia Steele, they never got a call back from her. Miss Abigail Turner is opposed. And that was what we received back. Mr. Carmouche, it looks like you've taken your 100 hours back in 2014. In 2011, you took Cage Rage. What you learned from Cage Rage?
Cage Rage taught me how to assess my anger, on my anger, and how to overcome it, how to actually not be mad at myself, not be angry at myself. And then also when it came to dealing with other people and how those feelings of anger come and is based on how you respond to what you feel, you know, and it's positive consequences and it's negative consequences to the anger. And that's what I learned, and how to actually apply when I do get angry or upset or agitated, just to sit back and think quickly and rationally and how to deal with the situation. Notice it could always be a better outcome.
Okay. Mr. Carmouche, have you taken any other classes besides Cage Rage in the 100 hours?
I've taken.
I see you've done certification.
Yes, I've taken a financial piece.
Okay.
So, and I've taken like a parenting class when I first got incarcerated. That was in a Lafayette Parish Correctional Center. I've facilitated and taken. I've developed an entrepreneurial curriculum. I've studied there. As far as classes are concerned, I took those 3 classes: 100 hours, pre-release, anger management, and financial peace, because I knew that those classes would address the dynamic risk factors that caused me to reoffend. I'm talking about firsthand. And that's what made me
What caused you to reoffend? Tell me what caused reoffend.
The dynamic risk factors, the ones that pertain to me were it was the pro-criminal attitude I had. It was my criminal associates that I found myself dealing with back 25 years ago. I had poor problem solving skills, you know, and those classes had taught me those things. I also had anger issues, hostility, anger issues, and that's where the anger management came in at. But 100 hours pre-release, it taught me how to deal with the pro-criminal attitude, and it helped me to shift my thinking so that I could have an anti-criminal attitude. And also, when it came to me hanging around people that were criminal-minded and criminal associates, you know, I've grown to the point where I don't even have any tolerance for that, because I'm on a totally different path now. They're not going in the same direction that I want to go in or that I choose to go in. So I don't even, and I learned that from 100 hours pre-release. I've learned a little bit of that from anger management. And then, of course, financial peace taught me what I needed to know about money management. And of course, 100 hours pre-release, I facilitate 100 hours pre-release now. So it has component in it that deals with money management. And I just begin to apply those principles to my life. What I've learned, I've begun to apply it to my life. And although I've had bumps. I've had a lot of bumps and I bumped my head a few times. But then when I remember those principles that I learned, and plus my relationship with God helps guide me too. When I remember those principles that I learned in those classes, it helps me.
Okay. Let me ask you this, your disciplinary history, you've had 65 write-ups in close to 30 years. You had a rule violation #1, contraband in 2018. What was that?
That was with a cell phone. A cell
Okay.
phone.
That's fine. That's all I wanted to know. I wanted to make sure it wasn't drugs. In 2019, you had a defiance and an aggravated disobedience.
Yes.
And then in 6/20/20, you had a 21E.
Yeah.
What was that about?
The 21E. Okay.
Okay, so that did happen.
Yes, it happened. It happened.
We know what a 21E is. Okay. You have very good letters from Prison Enterprise. How long have you worked for Prison Enterprise?
I worked 15 years there.
Okay. Anything else you've done for community service? I heard you say that you now facilitate a class.
Yes.
Anything else?
Yes.
Along with any organizations,
Yes.
anything like that?
Okay. Let me lay it out. I'm going to start from what I'm doing now and work back. Is that okay?
Yeah, as long as it don't take too long.
Okay, it's not. Right now, I facilitate 100 hours pre-release. I also, before that, I became a certified mentor, and I was a mentor at EHCC, giving back to the young guys there. And I also developed an entrepreneurial curriculum to give back to the entrepreneurial minded, and that was being taught at Hunt. Here, I was a member of the main prison concept club. I was a treasurer there, and we helped all the guys on hospital wards and stuff. Just help them with the basic things that they needed, and especially spiritual guidance, of course, spiritual help, and just the everyday necessities. I participated in reentry, and I work for them to help their efforts in as far as reaching the population. For about 7 or 8 years straight, I passed out care packages to guys in the cell blocks and stuff like that with Leadership Builders Ministries, working with them. And I had a chance to connect with a lot of guys and just to, help them to see that, man, it's a better way. It's a better way. You don't have to actually stay right here. I have a big thing a big quote of mine is, your tomorrow begins today. And what that simply means to me is that whatever I'm doing in my today is going to determine what my tomorrow looks like. And if I want my tomorrow to be different than what my yesterday was, I need to do something different in my today. And I tell guys, regardless of what you're going through or what you went through, man, your tomorrow don't have to look like that. And then I tell them to look at me for an example. And I give them a little background of the write-ups that I've had, the route I took in life to offend, and not only offend, but to recidivate and to see and to know that, man, it's not cool. And I tell guys that because I firmly believe that, and I know that because I want to make a change. That's how I help. That when I talk to guys, when I give back, that's the tenor of my message right there. That's what I do, and that's who I become. I wasn't doing that when I first got arrested, and when I did that 5.5 year sentence, I didn't have any programming. I wasn't equipped to re-enter society with what I had got from out that first period of incarceration because I didn't get anything. But now, because I've actually taken programs to help deal with what I needed to be treated for, my treatment need, my risks and my needs, the dynamic factors that I work with, that I was plagued with, so to speak, I can now see where I was and see where I'm at today and know where I want to be at in the future based on where I'm at today.
All right, I'm gonna tell you something. When we first started this interview today, I said, boy, I'm gonna have to drag stuff out of him because he doesn't like to talk. But I can see you don't mind talking whatsoever, so I have no further questions.
Any questions? Mr. Carmouche, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before the board votes?
Well, yes.
Briefly.
I know the class, I know y'all didn't ask this, but the class that impacted me the most was 100 hours pre-release, the victim awareness portion. You know, when I saw the extent of my victimization, prior to me taking that, I never really considered the extent of my victimization. I had the mentality that, man, all you did was take money from banks. But then when I saw how I impacted everybody that was involved, then my eyes were open and my heart was shattered because I don't want to hurt people no more. And for me to know that I've ruined somebody's life, that I hurt somebody to that extent, just by one bad decision that I made, that caused me to it was an eye opener. It made me look at myself, made me examine myself, made me judge myself. And I knew I had to do better. I knew I had to make a difference. I didn't want to repeat this cycle in my life. And I didn't want to hurt anybody else. And that's when I want to just let y'all know that I'm aware of the impact that one crime can do, one bad decision can make on a person. And because of that, I try not to make any bad decisions. I'm not talking about committing crimes. I'm talking about, I'm not going to commit another crime. I'm talking about any regular decisions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carmouche. Mr. Freeman, are we ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Carmouche, as I said, when we first started, I was like, oh, Lord. But, I listened to you today. You talk well. You make a lot of sense in what you said. You had a few transgressions with your write-ups, but your last one was over 3 years. You've taken good classes. You've given back to the community in the prison. I'm gonna take a chance on you today. My vote today is to grant with the special condition that you have a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
Mr. Carmouche. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Carmouche, you're a smooth talker. You embellish things that you want to embellish, and you diminish things that you like to diminish. And I can't fault you for that, but you're a smooth talker. And I sit here and I listen to you intently. And I'm going to go along with my colleagues this morning. But you diminished your 21F, which you didn't want to talk about, and I understand why you didn't. And you embellished everything else that was positive. You need to be aware that you will be on supervision. You have a lot of eyes on you, a lot of conditions on you. That smooth talking won't get you through your supervision.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You understand where I'm going?
Yes, sir.
I would agree with my colleague if he amends his decision to take some additional programming, because he hadn't had